How's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization doing since the last summit 2 months ago in Brussels, Belgium? Leaders of the 29 nations that are members, almost half of them former communist countries, found themselves face to face with an American president who kept pushing them to spend more on their own defense.
Well, they were probably worried because the United States was not being treated fairly, but now we are because the commitment has been up so much. But I can tell you that NATO now is really a fine-tuned machine. People are paying money that they never paid before.
President Donald Trump likes to measure just about everything in dollars. He's not really focused on the budget of the NATO organization itself, only about $1.7 billion per year, but rather the hundreds of billions that he'd like the allies to spend on their military strength, in part because he hopes they'll buy aircraft and weapon systems from American manufacturers. Trump's criticisms are not entirely accurate, but he has taken a liking to NATO's Secretary General. After returning in July from Brussels,
they weren't paying their bills on time, and now they're doing that. And I want to just say thank you very much to Secretary Stoltenberg. He really has been terrific. So we had a tremendous success.
Jens Stoltenberg is a former Prime Minister of Norway. He's been careful to stay on Trump's good side. He points out since the rise of the reformer Mikhail Gorbachev in Russia in the 1980s, the fall of the Berlin Wall, then the end of the Soviet Union in 1991, Western spending on the military plummeted. Now, for a fourth straight year, the defense budgets of NATO members are increasing.
As you know, President Trump has been outspoken on this issue. And I have thanked him for his leadership on defense spending.
While his friend Trump is reluctant to point to Russia as a threat, the NATO Secretary General gives his reasons for a military buildup.
Because we see a more assertive Russia, investing in modern capabilities, modernizing the armed forces, exercising like we in much bigger formations, and not least because Russia has been willing to use military force against neighbors in Georgia and Ukraine. That's the reason why NATO has implemented the biggest reinforcement to our collective defense.
Stoltenberg tries to persuade some reluctant governments and public opinion that money that could be spent on social services, schools, and other programs should go to the military. Yet he does favor talking with President Vladimir Putin.
We will all be losers if we move into a new Cold War, a new arms race. So we have always to find that balance between being firm, predictable, but at the same time trying to develop a better relationship with Russia, including arms control and political dialogue with Russia.
President Trump is simply proud of spending more on the military, having increased the U.S. defense budget by almost $200 billion a year to $716 billion next year. Trump believes that's popular among his voters, and he says America's armed forces should be so strong that they'll never have to go to war. Trump claims that's how NATO should be thinking. Dan Raviv, I-24 News, Washington.